Hi, friends. Welcome back to Brianna's Bookshelf. So, first of all, I apologize for the missed and late uploads. Unfortunately, my mental health has been taking a little bit of a dip this July, so it was a bit of a struggle to actually sit down and get a video filmed. But you guys are all great, and I'm sure you totally understand. So, thank you so much in advance for that. But I'm finally coming to you all with a book haul. It is about time because I have purchased, I think, just over 25 new books since the last haul I posted at the beginning of this year. And I'm pretty happy with myself because I think only three, if I'm not mistaken, only three of these were new books that I purchased myself. The majority were secondhand purchases. I've really been on my Pango game recently, buying so many books off of Pango, and of course, my local half price books as always. And then I have a gift in here as well. So, lots of fun things to talk about. I don't have much horror in here today. I think there's only one horror, which is a little random, but I guess I've just been going for other genres when I've been book shopping lately. So we've got some fantasy romance, we have some classics, and we have some contemporary romance as well. So it's a bit of a different mix for me. But without further ado, let's get on into it. So, first of all, I'm really testing my gym skills right now. I actually just got back from the gym. So, let's see if I can do this without dropping these. First of all, we have, oh, excuse me, we have the Poison Study series by Maria V. Snyder. This is like a classic young adult romantasy series that came out in the early 2000s. I did not read this when it came out, I didn't even know about it, but people say that this inspired Sarah J. Maas, especially with the Throne of Glass series. And I don't know what what came over me, you guys. I'm gonna put this down. I cannot keep holding all of this up. But I decided that I really wanted to try at least the first book. I was thinking, like, it's a classic. People seem to really love it. Well, a classic. It's a classic fantasy romance. So, you know what I mean. But I was like, I really want to try reading the first book, but I'm not going to buy it new because I feel like there's probably tons of used books out there. And this is like right when I had first made my Pango account a few months ago. And then I was looking for the book and I found someone that was selling the entire extended series and the spin-off series as one bundle, and hence this giant stack that I'm holding now. I was like, hell yeah, this is really cheap. I'm gonna buy all of them, which was kind of a crazy decision without having read any of them. But I have now read the first one. So let's get into it. The first trilogy here is these three. So I have the first book is, of course, The Poison Study, or just Poison Study. I guess there's no the. And I have already read this. It was a lot of fun. Basically, in Poison Study, we're following our main character. It doesn't even say her name on the back. What is her name? It's been like a month or two since I read this now. And I'm always so bad at remembering characters' names. I do not know what's wrong with me. To be honest, I feel like I struggle to remember people's names in real life too. Like when someone introduces themselves to me, it's going to take me a minute to remember their name. And that's just a me problem, I guess. Like, I literally cannot find her name. Yelena, that's what her name is. Okay, so Yelena is sentenced to death because she killed someone in self defense, but in this world, any killing is sentencing to death, and there's no ifs, ands, buts, any explanation of any kind. So she is set to be executed, but she ends up having the position of food taster for the commander of this kingdom open up right as she is set to be executed next. And basically, the food taster has to be a prisoner, and it's just like first come, first serve. So when it's her turn and the former food taster dies, she gets offered the position and she takes it. And then we have this whole story about, political intrigue with the kingdom. There's some magic involved. There is a bit of romance, but it is very slow burn, and it's not obvious at all who the love interest is, which I really appreciated. So I hope this was really, really well done. young adult romantic fantasy, and it is like it definitely covers tougher subjects for a young adult book, so I really appreciated that. But that's the first book. The next book that I need to read is Magic Study, and I'm not going to go into the synopses of these other books because I don't know what they're about yet. Followed by Fire Study. I do have the first trilogy in like different covers. This is like the original cover style. The other two that I have are in like a newer style. So I would love to, if I really like them, I might try to find the old covers for all three, but we'll see. Then we have, I think that this is, I don't know if this is a continuation of the main series or a spin off. I think this is pretty related to the first trilogy. So there's another trilogy. We have Night Study, Dawn Study, and Shadow Study. I like the cover of this one. It's really fun. It's very early 2000s for sure. And then we have one more trilogy, which I think is like just totally a spin off. I don't think it follows Yelena anymore. I don't know like who the people are in this one that it follows, but it's the same world, I'm pretty sure. We have Stormglass, then Sea Glass, and I really, really love this cover. And then last but not least, Spyglass. So yeah, I did buy 9 books in a series and spin-off series without having even read any of them, and that was kind of a crazy decision, but I don't know. I did it and now I own all of them. So I guess I'm gonna read all of them and it should be fun. I'm trying to work on a vlog of reading at least the first trilogy. I have no idea when that's gonna come out because I feel like my reading has been very sporadic lately, so I cannot guarantee how long it's gonna take me to get through that series. But we'll see if anyone's interested in hearing my deeper thoughts about that series. That will be coming. Whew, okay, I'm like sweating after that. Let's get into another pile of Pango books, shall we? Okay, another Pango order. I'm realizing there's also more Pango books, but they're like in a whole another pile. I ordered a lot of things off of Pango. So let's get into this stack. This is a little different. In June, I was really feeling my contemporary romance and fantasy romance, and so I was kind of diving into that and wanting to get more books related to those topics. So I got Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Rose Hill series, which is, I think, her third cowboy romance or like small town romance series. I have not read the first series that she came out with, but I am in the middle of the second one. What is that one called? It's like the really famous one, the Chestnut Springs series. I'm in the middle of that, and I do like it. It's not like groundbreaking, but I have really liked some of them. And yeah, I was just kind of like leaning into my romance era. And for some reason, I decided I wanted to start this series. I think I just really like the covers, and that was part of it, to be honest. Totally random reason, but yeah, I'm excited about this. Then I did get The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, and I have been excited about this. So this one, I feel like has been pretty popular like the last year. I want to say it came out at the end of last year. But I don't know very much about it. I think we might have a female knight in it based off of the cover, and I want to say there's something to do with like visions or like seeing the future that's related to this as well. And Rachel Gillig wrote the Twisted Crowns duology, I think is what it was called previously. And I read those and I felt pretty mid about them, but I did feel like her writing really had potential. Like I liked the gothic aspects, but it just didn't really flow right for me or like get me that into it. So I'm hopeful that this one will be an improvement. And it is blurred by Rebecca Ross, who I really do like. So I'm excited to potentially enjoy this one more. And I think this one is going to be a duology as well. So I'm excited about that. Then I got Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I haven't read any Ali Hazelwood books in a minute. I'm not caught up on her books at all, but I do really enjoy her as a romance author. I've read 2 of her books before that I have on my shelves, and I remember being very excited about this one when it first came out because our main character is a swimmer. She's on swim team, and I did swim team when I was younger. I've always loved swimming. So this felt like it would be very near and dear to my heart or relatable in some way. However, I was a little put off after it first came out because I heard some negative reviews. But I saw it on Pango and I was like, I'm just going to try it anyway. Maybe they won't be issues for me. We shall see. And it has these cool, like, water sprayed edges. And I know that besides her being a swimmer, the love interest is a diver, and then there is like some kink exploration in here, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be like pretty tame-ish because it's Ali Hazelwood. It's not like a dark romance or anything, but I think it'll be a fun time and a little bit different for her writing. So I'm excited to try it. And my best friend did read this earlier this year and she liked it and she said she thought I would like it too. So I'm excited. Then I was very influenced by book social media to purchase When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. And I remember when this came out, I was somewhat interested. I had heard some of the fantasy romance girlies online really liking it, but then I was just kind of like, I never got into it. I thought maybe at some point I'd read it on Kindle Unlimited. And then I read Sarah A. Parker's other series. I don't even remember what it's called. I'll insert a picture here of the first book in the other series. I read that last year and I really liked the first book, and then it went so downhill. Like I ended up DNFing the last book and didn't like it at all. And I feel like Sarah A. Parker's writing is a little difficult for me to like understand what's going on, or it like doesn't quite make sense. It's like it's trying to be overly flowery. So I thought I was maybe not going to read this book, but the sequel just came out and everyone was posting about it. Everyone who reads fantasy romance, of course, not like literally everyone, but all the fantasy romance girlies were posting about this on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And people were just hyping it up so much and saying this is like such a beautiful love story, that there's like equal fantasy to the romance. And people were just making it sound amazing. So I was like, yeah, let me buy it used and just see what I think. This is a thick boy, okay? But I'm interested. I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie, but I am interested to try it and to see what I think. It's so hot in here right now. Now all my other ones here are just in like a super random pile, so we're just gonna go and it might be out of order, but that's okay. I was at Half Price Books recently and I managed to find a UK cover edition of Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. Now, I have definitely been wanting to pick up Intermezzo for a while, ever since it came out, because I am a Sally Rooney girly. I do love her books historically. I still haven't read Conversations with Friends, but I love her other two books. And I've been so wanting to read this since it came out. But for some reason, I just like couldn't bring myself to buy it new. I think I just kept not being in the mood for this sort of like literary fiction, sort of emotional, like real raw kind of vibe. But I feel like I'm stepping back into that territory right now where I am kind of wanting some more contemporary fiction and or literary fiction and just things that make me think a little bit more or reflect on my life. So I've been knowing that I've been wanting to read this more, and then when I saw the UK cover, I got so excited because I mean I like the US cover too, but it's orange and orange is definitely not my favorite color, but I love blue. Blue is my favorite color. So I'm happy about this. I'm so excited to read it. I also do have the UK cover of Normal People, which I also randomly found at a used bookstore. That's like so random and not important, but I'm just excited because they're kind of like fun and a little bit special to have a slightly harder to find edition here in the US. Okay, then I have a very chunky boy right here. This is Kristen Lavransdatter. Lavransdatter? I'm gonna try to say it like in a Norwegian accent. Kristin Lavransdatter, I think is probably how this is said in Norway. And it's by Sigrid Undset. And my longtime best friend, shout out Sammy, I love you so much. She read this book for her book club and she fell in love with it. She said it's just amazing. She's obsessed with it. And she is the sweetest, bestest friend ever. And she bought it for me and mailed it to me from across the country, which was so, so sweet. So I'm so excited to have this. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before on my channel, but my grandparents were Norwegian, and the area that I live in, the city, it's like very much where a lot of Norwegian people moved when they came to the US. So, like, my whole family and, like, I guess kind of like neighborhood I live in is like very much has this Scandinavian vibe. And I am actually currently taking Norwegian language lessons. I'm very much a beginner though. I'm literally like in my first semester, taking that like in my off time. But I'm so, so excited to read this. It's a Norwegian classic that has been retranslated into English, and it was written in the early 1900s. And I believe that it is following the title character Kristin Lavransdatter throughout her life. It's like kind of this epic story of this woman in medieval Norway and her whole life. And I'm just so excited to get to this. Clearly, it's going to take me a while. I feel like this is definitely a winter read. Sammy told me, pick this up in winter. That's probably the best time to read it. But I think it's going to be amazing and really stick with me. I'm so excited to get to this. Then I have really been feeling excited about classics again recently, probably thanks to the Classic Scares Club because we've been reading classic horror and it just made me want to pick up more classics in general. So, on my latest trip to Half Price Books, I was on the lookout for some classics. Specifically, I really wanted to get East of Eden because I know the movie is going to be coming out, but alas, they did not even have a single copy. So, I guess everyone else wants to read that too, but that's okay. I did get the White Album by Joan Didion. I guess I don't know if this counts as a classic, but I always hear people online talking about Joan Didion and her writing and like her influence in that like I guess kind of 1960s or 1970s era of LA. And this is nonfiction. This is a series of essays, I believe. And the back says it covers different events of the era, such as Charles Manson, the Black Panthers, and the advent of the shopping mall. And I've just heard so much about Joan Didion. I am very excited to finally try her work. Then I got To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I have read a Virginia Woolf book, Mrs. Dalloway. I read that quite a few years ago now, and I really enjoyed it. And I do like Virginia Woolf's like stream of consciousness writing style. And I've been meaning to pick up another book of hers for so long. So I decided to get this one, not for any really particular reason. I don't really know what this one is about, to be honest. I was more interested in Orlando. I've heard a lot of things about that, but they did not have a copy of Orlando. And I feel like this cover is pretty summery, so that influenced me to pick it up for sure. And I'm excited to dive more into the world of Virginia Woolf. Then, being a little bit ambitious, I did get Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. No, Dostoevsky. I don't know how you say that, you guys. So I need to look that up. Obviously, this is a very famous classic, and I did read Dostoevsky's White Nights, which is like a short story kind of thing, last winter, and I liked it okay. It was kind of mid, but I saw the potential in the writing that I could like more things from him. And I am obsessed with this edition. I've never seen this before. It's the Wordsworth Classics edition that was used at Half Price Books, and I just freaking love the colors, like and the like foiling of the type. So I had to have this, and now it's in my life, and now I gotta read it. And then my last classic, and one of the few books I did buy new, is The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. And this was our last book for the Classic Scares Club. So I have already read this, and there is a live show on my channel discussing this. So I will link that for you in case you're interested. But I'm happy to own this edition of this book. I had read it before, but I read it as like a ebook edition, and then this one has illustrations in it, which are really fun. Let me find, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll find just like the first illustration that's just very general of like the landscape that this book takes place in. So I'm very happy to have this copy. Then the other two newly purchased books I bought so far since my last book haul are both fairy books. The first being Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I am so excited to get to this probably in the fall time. I was also interested in it for spring, but didn't end up getting to it then. And I feel like it could go for fall as well. But this is about Theodora, who was cursed by a fairy to only have half of a soul. And I don't really know what happens after that. Like, does she go back to this fairy? I don't know. I haven't even read the back, but I have heard so many good things about Olivia Atwater's books, and I think this is like Regency era England, and that sounds super fun to me. Then I did purchase Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett, and I have my beautiful Barnes and Noble paperback edition because I just love these versions of the covers, so I have been buying these ones. I wasn't like planning to buy this super soon, but my mom's birthday was in June and she's been reading this series from me, and she absolutely like was obsessed with it and was like, I have to read the next book now, like where is it? And I was like, wait, I'll get it for you. So I bought this for her to read first, and she's already finished with it, and she said she loved it. So now I have it back and I can read it soon. Then also on Pango, I purchased the Darker Shade of Magic series by V.E. Schwab because I read the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, on Kindle a few months ago, and I really, really liked it. This is fantasy about like this other world where there's different versions of the world, and we're following the main character who is able to travel through these different realms, and there's like magic, and he goes through these different areas, these different Londons that in these different realms. I don't know why that was so hard for me to explain right now, but I really liked it. And so I got the whole trilogy. So I also have A Gathering of Shadows, which will be the next one for me to read. And then I also have the last book, A Conjuring of Light, which is a nice chunky one. And I think those books have since come out, been republished with new covers. So I'm happy to have the old covers because I much prefer them. And I think they represent the story better because there's this aspect of like the realms being represented by different colors, white, black, and red. So that really goes well with those covers. But those are all of the books that I have bought since my last book haul. There's quite a few. I feel like I usually don't purchase that many books, but I'm happy to have found so many gems, so many treasures used recently. That is such a blessing to be able to buy used books. And I think so beautiful to be able to cherish something that has already been loved by someone else. I think it's a beautiful thing. But that is all for this week. If you have made it to the end of the video, please leave me, well, I'm looking at A Conjuring of Light, so please leave me a crown emoji like on this cover. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.